Hi guys, welcome back again, and we're in the garage again cutting some of this styrofoam, I think it's called. This whiteboard. You know what it is yourself. I'll find out and I'll put it in text. Oh God, Harry. So I'm cutting this, so what I've done is I'll just turn these around and I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I've made a template of the outside of the track, and these are the walls in the house. Okay, so I need to turn it this way. Turn it round, upside down. Okay, put it on my board. Alright, and marked. I marked it out. And the reason I turned it upside down was I'm now going to cut this board. I'm going to cut this styrofoam. Yeah, so you see, that's going to go that way onto the track. Okay, you're looking underneath. So I'm going to cut it. That will be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it like this way. So I know when I come down here that this piece is against close to the track, not against the track, but very close, because I want to put a fence in. So I can just follow that line from here and randomly cut with my saw, and then I'll start shaping. And I have another piece here to put on it, and another piece to go on top, and that'll be my little bit of a hill. So I'm just cutting along here, following the line, okay? And of course the secret that no one tells you is you're going to get covered in this stuff. I'm like Mr. Static at the best of times. So it's stuck to my hands, it's all over the place. So that's why I'm doing it in the garage, because I just knew this was going to be very messy. So I wouldn't advise doing this in your room. Maybe there's a better way of doing it, a sharper knife. The knife I used was reasonably sharp, kitchen knife. Maybe I should have used one like this with not such a rough edge. But I don't know if there's any way of doing this without having a huge mess of this stuff everywhere. I mean, everything in the garage now is covered. It's all over the place. Crazy. There you go. They don't show you that. Oh, let's keep going. I'm glad I didn't do this in the model room, in the circuit room, because it's everywhere. And every time you brush it off, it just comes back. I'm covered in it. Oh, it's snowing outside, and snowing inside now as well. So what I'm doing is I have this is the first piece, okay? That's how it is on the track. The beginnings of the first piece of this. So the second piece, I'll put this down here, okay? And with the second piece, I've marked where this slope ended. I'm going to start cutting this in at this angle as well to hopefully continue this slope in on the hill. So let's do that and see what happens. So I've cut that piece at an angle and sat it on top of the other piece. Okay, so it's sort of following. You know, I'll glue these together. And now I have one thinner piece for the top. Now, I know people could say I could have just bought two big pieces and put them together and then cut it. Yes, I could have. But I didn't. I bought three different thickness pieces. Why? I don't know why. Don't ask me. I'm learning, folks. I'm not trying to show you an expert view, and I'm not claiming to be an expert. It's my first time ever to do this. So I think it'll work. I'm going to show you. Now look, it breaks. You have to be very careful. That piece is breaking there, but that's no problem. I'm going to turn this upside down again, put the thinner piece in the bottom, and again mark it, and start cutting the next angle. And yeah, we see how it goes. The next piece I'm doing is bonsai corner. So this is at the end of where the track comes down, where I have the tire barrier, where the hairpin curve is. And that's against the wall, and that's against the wall. Here we have this corner. I brought it inside and put it beside the track. And I'm not finished modeling it yet. I'll be cutting that there a little bit, as you can see, and making the mountain a little bit less steep. But I'll glue the 3 pieces together with PVA glue. So I'm going to leave them there. And the other corner was a bonsai corner. That's here. So I just have to cut that a bit, mold it in, but that fits in there. Of course, I'll make the tree a bit more lifelike. I'll do a bit of painting on some mash and put some grass around and stuff. So that's that other corner. So, okay. As I was saying, I'll be cutting this piece just to make this a little bit less sudden. So I'll cut this piece along here just to bring it down a bit here. And so under here, I'm going to do some garages. The reason for that idea was, okay, so cars that you're using regularly, you can just put in there, out of the way. Okay, so they're under there. I'll put a few dividers in here. Just to show you guys, that's a bonsai corner. And I'll go over here a second. So I'm cutting some grooves into this. Just to make the rock face look a little bit more interesting. And again, I'm doing this after watching Boone's channel, Boone's Slotcar Garage. And he does a lot better. He's more experienced than me. Plus my knives are so blunt, it's unbelievable. So I found the blade I had. So I'm just sort of cutting in and trying to make the rock face look a little bit more interesting, you know. And now I think the part I watched in Boone, he had done it with spray foam, which I'm going to try and do some with spray foam later. But at the moment, this one I made with the 3 pieces. You can see the 3 pieces joined together. So that's what I'm up to now. I'm doing that with the blade. And then what I need to do then is, from watching himself, the master, again, is I have some sandpaper. And I'll just hold it at the same time. And I'm just sort of going around this and just smoothing off the cuts. Now, you know, this is me doing it for the first time, so don't listen to me. I'm not the expert. If you want to know how to do this properly and then have a go yourself, go on to Boone's channel and have a look. But this is my interpretation. The idea here is I'm going to make that, I think, I'm going to try and make that look like a little bit of a stream coming down here, you know. So I'll use some browns, paints and that in there. Sound like I know what I'm doing, but... So, yeah. And what I'll do is, when I get this, I'll sand it down a bit. When I get this piece sanded down a bit, and as you can see, as usual, I'm covered in this stuff. And the garage is covered in this stuff. It's everywhere. Yeah. When I'm done with that, I'll bring it back into the house. And I'll put the plaster into the grooves and smooth it out a bit. And then I'm going to see. Now the plan is, I know this is very flat here. You're probably wondering why. Well, number one, I don't really know what I want to do with it, but my idea is I'm going to put a fence along here, a scale fence about that height. Going to put a fence along here, and I was thinking make this a grass area with a few cars parked here, as in spectators looking down on the track. So that was my idea for that. That's why I left that fairly flat. I didn't bring my hill from here down. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to leave this as like a, you know, somebody like a fence, and they're looking into the valley where the track is. What I'm doing now is I have this first corner, which is my test corner, and I have this gap filler plaster, ready-made plaster, and I'm just putting it on, filling in any holes that look very false. I'm doing this thing with the plaster. It seems to be going okay. Not so bad. And Yeah, a lot of the lines disappear as the plaster dries. Like when you're painting a door and you see your paint lines, but then when the paint blends back together, you don't see your paint lines and it's just like a smooth surface. So there's a lot of lines, but when it dries out, not so bad. Very pleased with how this is going. And of course, just hiding all my joins between my 3 pieces. So just take a big gloop of this and put it on where there's a join, fill in the gap, smooth it down. Okay. There's it. You can see there, there's a bit of a prominent line there, so I'm just going to put a decent gloop into there, hide that line.